Sadnam. We are Jen and Ramtin from Heart Center Revolution.
Our intention with this podcast is to share the best of Kundalini Yoga and conscious living with you so you can live a more heart-centered life. Welcome to episode 14 of the Heart-Centered Revolution podcast. In this podcast or episode, we talk about how Kundalini Yoga is the yoga of awareness and exactly what that means. And then at the end, we do a pranayam called Dealing with Your Own Mind that helps you get an acquaintance with how your mind's working so that hopefully you can start having it serve you rather than rule you. I also wanted to give you a quick reminder to please go to heartcenteredrevolution.com/survey to fill out the quick questionnaire that we have there. It'll just help us decide what our next steps with Heart-Centered Revolution should look like. It should only take a few minutes, and we will be taking responses up until February 14th, 2018. So if you're listening after then, you can always reach out to us on Facebook or via email, but the survey will only be open till the 14th. When people talk about Kundalini Yoga as the yoga of awareness, it can be difficult to understand what they mean until you've experienced it. But once you have, it can still actually be difficult to put words to. But what I like to say, or how I've experienced it, is that it's increased my awareness of absolutely everything. So from things as small as how what I eat affects my body. So if I have sugar or caffeine, I am feeling wired or a little shaky. Or if I have, for me, when I was still eating meat, if I eat meat, I would feel lethargic and kind of sick to my stomach. So something as small as that or physical as that. And then it also increases your awareness of your connection to the infinite and your part in this greater dance that is happening on planet Earth and in the cosmos and the universe. Before we get into Ramtin's class, I wanted to share a quote about what Kundalini is. So Kundalini is the energy of the soul, of consciousness, and it resides in the base of the spine. And what we're doing in Kundalini Yoga is we are activating that energy to rise up the central channel of the body from the lower centers into the higher centers so that we can experience it and it can be of use to us. And so the power of Kundalini Yoga lies in the actual experience. It goes right into your heart and extends your consciousness so that you may have a wider horizon of grace and knowing the truth. Ultimately, you come to understand your existence in relationship to the universe and understand you already are. And this brings you to the practical experience of infinity. You can then radiate creativity and infinity in all aspects of your daily life. We also talk in Kundalini Yoga about the altitude and attitude of Kundalini. So the idea is that latitude and longitude are given to everybody, but Kundalini Yoga gives you altitude. So you can kind of see the big picture. You can be above things, not better than them, but just have a different perspective. We'll jump now into Ramtin's class. And as I said, I'll be back at the end to guide you through a pranayam.
Kundalini Yoga is it's called the Kundalini Yoga of awareness. And how we become aware, what we become aware, first and foremost, is our limitations. It starts from the way we sit, the way we breathe, and how we move our body. And those limitations are nothing to worry us about, or look down at ourselves, or that we are less than, or we are limited for that matter. So the physical restrictions that we become aware of is a way for us to expand our consciousness. So the subtle energy movement within the body that we create with these movements and the subtle energy forms that we become aware of helps us to now utilize the energy that we have within our body to create things we want to create, inwardly and outwardly. So in Kundalini Yoga, the movements, the kriyas that we do, the breathing, the mudras, and the sounds that we use, the mantras, all are put together systematically to strengthen and balance the glandular system, strengthen the nervous system, and become aware of our subtle consciousness that exists within every cell of the body, every part of the body, in our brain, and how it is all connected. And that's what makes us a multifaceted being, multi-dimensional being. Start from a very quantum level, and as we see it, as we perceive it, higher consciousness, and at the quantum levels of the higher consciousness, which is different consciousness, which is different mindsets, mind of God, different mind of how we create our own minds by becoming aware of the consciousness and focusing on certain consciousness. So the sounds and the mantras that we use they've been chanted for a long time, for thousands of years, and has created a certain consciousness that's at the level of our connection or understanding of what that consciousness is and what energy is, as far as when it comes to consciousness and the awareness and the vibration and the field of consciousness that exists, that we connect to with this mantra. So the mantras obviously is a certain meaning is associated with them and is given and associated with them. That was the purpose of doing it. But as we chant those words, and the sound is mainly about the sound, the vibration that it creates within us, we feel that, and that's how we recognize it, and that's how we connect ourselves. We get connected to our higher self, our deeper inner wisdom. So the Adi mantra, that's how we tune in to start the class. And as it says here, it says Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. The sound of Om is the same as sound of Om, the sound of creation. But Om is more like silence, takes you away, that escape, away from that, puts you in that quiet zone, so to speak, inner wisdom. Om is more active. So when you chant Om, you're creating that vibration, you're creating that awareness, you tuning yourself into more of a focused place. And it says, call upon the divine wisdom within. So is going deep within, connecting through awareness that we create through the practice, through the physical exercises and the mantras of what we are. And the awareness is not always doesn't come about as being blissful first when we become aware of things. We become aware of certain things in our body, physical limited boundaries that have been created throughout our lifetime, this lifetime, and other thoughts and conditioning of the mind. As we become aware of those, and also keep in mind that that connection that we created through the mantras, through the exercises, that blissful feeling, maybe for a millisecond, but we have connected at some point, putting those two together and going forward with that's part of the awareness process. But that knowing gets stronger and stronger, that we are part of something more, and this going beyond just physical body. So by Om Namo Gurudev Namo, we chant when we chant that, we also connect to the what we call the golden chain of teachers that have taught Kundalini Yoga before. And again, we tap into that consciousness. And the Mangala Charan mantra, Ad Gure Name, Jugad Gure Name, Sat Gure Name, Siri Gurudev A Name. It says there that we're chanting it for protection. And Ad Gure Name, Jugad Gure Name, Sat Gure Name, Siri Gurudev A Name means I bow to that primal wisdom that has always been, always exists, still exists, and is always with us. Recognizing that primal and that creative source and force. And when we say we chant it for protection, when we become one with that, all that there is, then there's really nothing to fear. And then we become part of that. That goes beyond our physical existence and our thoughts and conditioned mind. And that takes us, as we go above all of that conditional world, we become one with all that there is. And there's really nothing separated from us. Nothing that, we have to protect ourselves from, because we're all one with it. And the Adi mantra, Om Namo Gurudev Namo, and the Mangala Charan mantra, we chanted 3 times. And we chant it in a way to create that vibration for us. We chant it loud, we chant it, in kind of in a devotional manner to get that vibration going and feel the vibration within us. And Sat Nam means true identity, who we truly are. And again, this is the whole process of Sat Nam, true identity, who we are. And we greet ourselves. We say, when we part from here, we say Sat Nam. That's the way of, it's the same as Namaste, if you heard that, same connotation. And it's a mantra that we use throughout some of the Kriya exercises that we do. And at the end of the class, the long time sunshine song, may the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. We bless each other at the end of the class, and recognizing now that what we have created here, the energy, what we tapped into, what we became aware of and projected here, now is time to share. This responsibility kind of starts there. So those are the mantras, the basic mantras we use.
Wonderful. We will now transition into today's practice, or pranayam practice, which is called dealing with your own mind. And before we start this practice, I want to read you one of the quotes from Yogi Bhajan that is included here. It says, normally after you have done this exercise for 2 minutes, you will start feeling bored. Your negative mind is in action. It's asking, what are you doing this for? This is a babyish thing. We could have done something better. In any exercise which touches the mind, a person starts getting upset in exactly 2.5 minutes. That's the rule of thumb. The mind doesn't want to be caught. It wants to swing. But there are some people like us who feel that it's hard work to control the mind. But once we control the mind, then we can control the whole world. So those are lofty promises, and whether you're there or not is up to you and where you're at in your practice. But I think we all can agree that having monkey mind and not being able to focus on one thing at a time in a calm, clear, and neutral way can definitely impact how you perceive the world and the situations you get yourself into. All right, so let's get into position for today's practice. You can root down your feet or your sit bones. Lift your heart up, shoulders up, down, and back. Close your eyes. Focus them at the third eye. If you're driving, you'll need to modify this practice to maintain safety, of course. Let's start by inhaling deeply, exhaling completely. Inhaling belly, ribs, and chest. Exhaling, chest, ribs, and belly. Okay, continue with your long, deep breathing. Like the other practices we've done the past couple weeks, we're going to close one of our nostrils. So bring your right hand up. Using your thumb, gently press close your right nostril. So we're going to inhale through your left nostril. And exhale through your mouth. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling completely through the mouth. Keep up with this breathing pattern, inhaling through the left nostril. Exhaling through the mouth. Inhaling. And exhaling. Continue with your breathing pattern, inhaling through the left nostril and exhaling through the mouth. I'll share with you some more quotes on the mind. The mind is a link between infinity and you. When the soul got the body, the soul asked God, "What is my link with you, my Lord?" And God said, "The mind." Inhaling through the left nostril, exhaling through the mouth. Another quote about these kinds of pranayam is some people train themselves to breathe through any nostril they choose, but many of you have not practiced that, and therefore you use your hand to close your right nostril. Long, deep breathing through the left nostril is good for the heart and good for the health. It will calm you down. Inhaling through the left nostril. Exhaling through the mouth. Let's do two more together. Inhaling belly, ribs, and chest. Exhaling chest, ribs, and belly. Completely exhaling. Inhale deeply, filling the body with prana. Exhaling completely out the mouth. Complete your exhale. And then to finish this exercise, we're going to interlace our fingers together, raise them up over your head, palms up, inhaling. Now suspend your breath. We're going to hold it for a little while. Continue to hold. Stretching up. You can take in a little sip of air if you need to. And exhale, bring your hands down into your lap or on your knees. Eyes are still closed. Let the breathing pattern return to regular. And check in with your mental, emotional, and spiritual state. Notice if there are any shifts, especially in your mental clarity. You can gently blink open your eyes when you're ready. So now you have this practice to take with you whenever you need it, whenever you want to deal with your own mind, can gain a little bit of control over that monkey mind. You can just breathe in through your left nostril and breathe out through your mouth. The exercise says to do it for 6 minutes. We did about 2.5 minutes. So you can use that as guidance. But as always, I'm so appreciative that you joined me for this practice. And I'd love to hear how it went for you and if you experienced anything, what you liked about it, kind of what your observations were. So give us a shout out on Facebook, or you can email us, anything like that. That is it for episode 14 of the Heart-Centered Revolution podcast. We so appreciate you spending your time with us and are excited for you in your journey, this awesome journey of Kundalini Yoga. Another reminder to please visit heartcenteredrevolution.com/survey before February 14th to give us some feedback as to what you like about Kundalini Yoga, what you would like to learn more about, and what teaching style would work for you. Does the podcast work? Would you like videos? Something on Facebook? Kind of what would help support you to integrate your Kundalini Yoga practice more deeply into your day-to-day life? Because that is our goal here at Heart-Centered Revolution. But we love you, and may the longtime sun shine upon you. Sat Nam.